Promise to do your command. Promised I would put an end to my sin.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
This time I was going to win.
Good afternoon. Good
When I
afternoon.
looked down deep within,
I'm glad you guys are here.
I realized my flesh is
Thank you
weak
for joining.
and my faith is thin. I don't mean to do wrong.
Hey, Montree. Hey, sis. My big sister's on. Marion. Love you. Good to see you. Hey, Cynthia. Good to see you. Glad you guys are on. Hey, Rick. What's up? I'm on the wrong page. What page am I on? Okay. Let me get on the right page. Thank you, Rick.
I need your help. Lord Jesus, I need your help. And we say, Lord, yeah, come and rescue me.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for coming on. Hey, Chanel. Glad you're in the studio. Glad to see you. Montrese, Yolanda, Ariel. Good to see you guys. I don't know why Instagram keeps putting me on the wrong page. I'm going to fix it. Whoa. We're getting there. Hey, this is going to be a good afternoon talk session. I'm in enough trouble on my own. Lord, come quickly. Make haste. I need your help. Say, I need your help. Okay. Somebody tell me my password for Instagram again. I don't remember. It keeps bringing me to my other page, but I'm going to get on there. Enjoy the music. We're going to be on in just a few seconds. All my guests are in the studio. Monique, you got to tell me my password for Lady Doctor on Instagram. Monique Wanza. I can't get on Instagram. I must have changed my password. All right, I'm going to get on there in just a moment. Come down and rescue me. Lord, come down and rescue me. Come down and rescue me. Okay, we're going to see if we can do this from the phone. I got myself into a sticky situation. I need your help, I can't deny it. All right, 1 minute. Say, Lord, come down and rescue me. Okay, I'm live on Instagram, but I have to hold it because somebody took my holder. I'm glad you guys are coming on. Find me on Instagram. Those of you, by the time this song is done, we're going to be everywhere. We're getting there. I don't want you guys to leave me. Hey, Trevor. Is that TJ or Trevor? Big Trevor. Glad to see you guys. I'm just going to try to crop this some kind of way. I hope that's okay. It's a little jacked up. We can do better. We will do better. But we have a very exciting topic for discussion today. Come and rescue. Some of you might be tired of our music by now, but I'm not. Every time I go on Facebook and I use other people's music, they start muting me and all that foolishness. So we got our own music to use. I'm a little glistening today. Guys, I'm glad you're here. I'm happy that you are with us. Late last night, the Lord gave me a topic. I woke up a few people as the Lord led me and asked them to share in today's panel discussion. They are ready. I have confidence in these ladies, and I know that they are no nonsense. One of the main prerequisites that I have for being on my live is that you are a no-nonsense girl, that we're not going to get on here talking about each other, hurting each other, dogging out each other, and trying to make home run hits with cliche foolishness. We don't play that over here. So those of you that are on and you're ready to talk about Black Women Matter, I want you to welcome our guests as I bring them to the stream one at a time. This is Chanel Sapp. I will let them introduce themselves and tell you what they are about. And this is Cherie Clark. And we have Tanasia Lewis. And so all of them have consented to be a part of this discussion. Also, Doreen Hunter, Paulette, Netta May, Denise Green, Denise Wade, all of you, Christina Barr, you are all a part of today's panel discussion. I'm going to ask if Wanza can help me try to chronologically keep your questions up, and she knows how to ignore stupidity and foolishness. And so if you're going to ask those kind of questions that cause problems, we're just going to act like you're not there. So that's how we get down over here. And I'm grateful to God for all of you that are on. Hey, Courtney, and some of you from Full Effect, you know Tanasia Lewis, and I'm grateful that she has consented and is available. You may not know Chanel, you may not know Cherie. Those of you that are in our boot camp, you know these ladies. But it doesn't matter whether you knew them before now, you're going to know them after this, for sure. So let's get at it. Our subject today is Black Women Matter. And so I have to put out a few disclaimers, and I kind of run these panels, I don't let you guys, the rules are you don't elaborate too long on one question or one subject because we will never get to anything. Please don't preach. You already know I'm going to give you the bong if you get on here and start tuning up. Okay, but what I do want your answers to be concise. So just kind of think it through first and try to get to the bottom line if you can so that we can get more information in this segment. Also, if we have audience questions, I will address them to either all of you or one of you specifically. The other thing is, don't be offended if I jump in and move you along, because that's the only way we can get more out of you. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So Black Lives Matter is one of the biggest movements around the world right now. I cannot tell you. I want to say to those of you who are watching in Instagram, I may be looking up because I'm looking up at my computer and trying to engage you. Please forgive me. I'm going to get a whole setup soon where I look like I'm looking at everybody at the same time. I'm going to get this thing straight. At any rate, also, those who are on Facebook get to see our panelists. Those of you who are on Instagram, I will try to repeat what they're saying if you did not get it, but you are certainly welcome to participate in the conversation as well. So I want to put out a disclaimer that I am not necessarily somebody's playing. Who's that playing the live? You gotta turn your phone down. Why do I hear myself? Somebody's listening to me live. One of you panelists, you have Facebook Live on or something? Turn it down. Okay. I don't hear it anymore. Okay, thank you. So I don't want to make anyone think that I am particularly a subscriber to the Black Lives Matter movement, but I am a subscriber to the Black Lives Matter cause. And the reason I separate the movement from the cause is because there's a lot connected to the Black Lives Matter movement that I may or may not be in agreement with. I know that there are some other organizations that have joined in the Black Lives Matter movement and are pushing that forward, but they have another agenda behind that. And I have to be very careful what I subscribe to. So I know that when you start seeing commercials and NFL T-shirts and people in big, large financial organizations pushing Black Lives Matter, is very little about Black lives than it is about their agenda. So I want to be careful. And partly I want to say that I am not a victim. I do not feel victimized by any system. I am held to another state of accountability. I am a kingdom of another citizen. I'm a citizen of another kingdom, and I don't subscribe to everything that's going on in our world. Have Black people been unfairly victimized? Yes. Have Black people been treated poorly? Yes. Have Black people been underrepresented? Absolutely. But I do not take that to jump on the bandwagon of a movement that I do not understand the primary roots of the movement. But I do appreciate the cause, and I am very grateful that Black people are being noticed as more than just less than human beings and less than other human beings. So I want you to understand that from Jump Street, that I am not just jumping on a bandwagon. Also, now I particularly want to bring up some names of people who have been getting a lot of controversy, particularly Black women. The young lady who represents the Republicans, she's making a lot of noise. She's making a lot of sense. He is frustrating a lot of us, and we have a lot to say about her on Facebook. I'm going to get her name. I have these moments where things come in and things go out. So I'm going to get her name. You guys can bring her up. You probably know who I'm talking about. And so I want to definitely bring in some of the views that I've heard from her. So when I talk about Black women matter, I'm talking about to each other. It's no question that we matter to the world. It's no question that we matter to God. It's no question that all people matter. That's not my issue. My issue now is what we want to discuss today, why we seem to hate each other. Women, Black women, and I call it Black on Black female negativity. So negativity in the first place is something we need to deal with, but Black on Black female negativity, we want to address issues of appearance. We want to address issues of financial viability. We want to address issues that concern what we think Black women should look like or should not look like, how we represent ourselves, how we behave in public, and all the things that we hear ourselves chatting about. Thank you so much. We're going to talk about Candace Owens respectfully in this platform. I say respectfully, I mean respectfully. You go off on her, I'm going to ask you to leave the live, okay? So let's get at it. Am I too mean? I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be a nice host today. Cynthia, be nice. No, but I really can't keep it no nonsense because I can't. It just makes me itch to see people do some of this kind of stuff. They know better than to try to do it on my live because I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna call your name out. I'm gonna put your comment on the screen so people can know why I put you off the live. Anyway, so we're gonna talk about. We want to. The first question we want to put on our panelists, and I'm gonna give you all, before you answer the question, say a little bit about yourself, anything you want the audience to know. Don't read a bio, okay? We don't have time for all that. In a nutshell. Okay, so the first question that's on the floor is, what effect do you think self-hatred has to do with Black on Black female negativity? And if it has anything to do with it. Self-hatred, what's your thought? Cherie.
My name is Cherie. I represent a grassroots organization here in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania called Freedom Fighters. I agree with you, First Lady. I am all for the essence of Black Lives Matter. I do not personally support all of the ideology of the Black Lives Matter movement organization. And in reference to the question, what effect do you think self-hatred has on Black female disrespect? I definitely think it has a lot to do with it. That's one of the major reasons I feel like it does go on. I think healing internally is the best method to deal with that. If you don't love yourself, then it's very difficult for you to love and appreciate your neighbor. So I do think that it does have an effect. Self-hatred does have an effect on the way that we treat one another.
Thank you. Chanel.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good afternoon. My name is Chanel Sapp. Self-hatred. I've come across that in my own, life, feeling that I'm not good enough, or I don't dress or look the way everyone else does. And so at times, I can project that onto other people because I'm not confident in myself. So if you're not confident in who you are and accepting of who you are, when you look at someone else, you can project that onto them. And I'm a witness. I've done it, unfortunately, but I'm learning how to heal because, like Sister Cherie said, you have to heal first. You have to look within yourself first, find the root of why you feel the way you feel about yourself, and then you won't, project that on to other women. So.
Thank you, Chanel. That's really good. Tanasia.
Hi, I'm Tanasia. I think self-hatred plays a big part in how we view in our relationship with other women, because instead of looking to other women for inspiration, we end up looking towards them as competition. So therefore, everything they do, we can't grow from it or be inspired by it. Therefore, we're just looking to see how we're better than them or how they're better than us. And therefore, it puts a separation in our relationship with other women.
Wow, this is good already. I want you to know that. So Tanasia and Chanel just wanted you to know their names because that's all they told you. I guess they figured if they're on this platform, there's somebody enough to be on this platform. So thank you, guys. Now, when we talk about self-hatred, most people will not say that they hate themselves. Most women will not say, I do not have any self-hatred, until after the fact. Like Chanel said, after we have figured it out and heard and understood and learned that our behavior is an indication of self-hatred. So I want you guys to try to delve in on what kinds of behavior do you think, and I'm not making any of you professional psychologists because I'm not either, but in your opinion, this is an opinion platform. In your opinion, what kinds of behavior do you think represent self-hatred? Tanasia.
I would definitely think low self-esteem, any negative feelings about yourself, or just genuinely not being happy with yourself, whether it's when you're looking in the mirror. And I also think self-hatred is also a reflection of the relationship you have with other people. If you are constantly having issues with everybody else, at some point it's not everyone else, it's probably you, and it's probably the self-hatred that you have.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Chanel.
Well, some negative behavior I've experienced, put on me towards others, is them immediately wanting to make me feel bad about myself. And, we all have opinions about what somebody looks like and what their hair, what they're wearing. But the fact that you feel the need to put it out there to make someone else feel bad, lets me know that, you know, something's going on with you. Like you can keep that opinion to yourself, you know, you don't have
Nobody
to make me
asked
feel
you.
bad. Right.
I got you. Thank you. Thank you. Are you guys hearing well in Instagram? If you are, throw up something. I see your waves. I see you, Elder Free. I see you, Deacon Rodney. I see you guys, Tanya. Thank you so much. But if you're hearing their comments well, just holler back at your girl some kind of way. Let me know. Those of you who have questions, hold on to them for a few minutes. We just getting started over here. Cherie, some self-hatred behavior.
This is from personal behavior that I exhibited prior to beginning the healing process. Just needing to fill a room with you. There's a room full of people, but everything and anything going on has to be about you. That reinforcement that you need from outside, constantly making the scene about you is a really big indication that you may be dealing with some self-hatred.
Okay, so hatred is a strong word. Thank you, Cherie. When you have to absorb all the oxygen in the room, when all eyes have to be on you, I never saw that as an indication of self-hatred. Of course, I probably associated with narcissism, conceit, and all those other words, but those words I now believe are derived from some form of self-hatred because you need some validation from the crowd. You need people to say who you are. Before you walked in the room, you were not confident of who you were, so you're going to have to do something to make people, y'all don't hear me, acknowledge who you are. Wow, you guys are absolutely what God sent to this platform today. And so we're going to deal with some, now we're not just talking. None of my platforms are just whistling Dixie and expressing opinions. There are some people who are listening, watching either right now or later on today, tomorrow, any other time, who are dealing with some form of self-hatred and they don't even know it, but they know it now. And they're starting to acknowledge that for some reason, someone will compliment somebody's dress, but for some reason, I need to say that it was cheap. It's in the $10 store. I need to say that all her rolls are showing, though. She should have had on a better undergarment if she's going to rock that dress. Not that you don't think it, but for some reason you needed to say it. And that is, Chanel has indicated, an indication of self-hatred. And then how we treat other people if we find everything as a competition instead of an inspiration, says Tanasia. Perhaps we're suffering from some form of self-hatred. And then we're going to move on, but we want to deal with those issues. And I had to repeat it so that everyone can get clarity on what we're saying, so that if this is you or me, we can make some changes. The other thing that Tanasia touched on is one of the things that I just mentioned is this this need to compete. How come we can't be inspired without competing? So I come and I'm happy and I'm all exuberant about my new house and I'm so excited, and your response is, I believe God, I'm gonna get me a house. We all believe God, we're gonna get a house. But right now we talking about my house. Why can't you just be happy that I have a house? And then when you get a house, we're going to celebrate with you. So that feeling of competition, it may be hidden under these faith adages and attestations. You know, I believe God for mine. I get it. But the question is, why did not you celebrate mine before we talk about yours? So those things could happen to be some kind of, I'm going to throw up one statement here from Faith, Evangelist Faith. She says, dehumanize them to elevate self. That is something that we do. And we have to understand why. Somebody is agreeing with Gwendolyn. I want to see what Gwendolyn said before we move on. I can't find it. I'm not that good. I'm trying to do everything at the same time. I see my family is on here. Somebody said, share this live, please. I think that's my family member, Plum G. All right, share it. Somebody share it. Everybody share it. Share it. Aggravate everybody with your share. Okay, so now after we have dealt with some of the, and of course we could do a whole panel on self-hatred, but it's not about self-hatred. It is how self-hatred affects how we treat one another. The main essence of this meeting is a conversation is how we treat one another. So now that we have dealt with some of the issues of self-hatred, let's talk about why we think we spread that hate to other women or hate other women. Let's go. Cherie.
The spreading of the hate really, it really stems and generates from within. It's very difficult to produce something outside of what you're dealing with inside. So whatever you have going on inside is what you project and what you radiate. So if there's some, self-hatred, I know we're moving away, but if there's self-hatred, then the only thing that you can perpetuate is hatred towards anyone that, comes into contact with you. This is from personal, experience with low esteem and looking and seeking for validation outside. So you only perpetuate what's inside. And so it really has to start with that healing before you can, radiate anything different.
Thank you. So I'm feeling like I'm overweight and I'm hiding the parts about myself that I'm uncomfortable with. I'm accentuating the positives and eliminating the negatives. I'm wearing the right clothes that don't show the bulges, and I'm refusing to turn sideways right now so you don't see the fat under my arm. Behind, I'm very conscientious about that, and I find myself seeing that in other people. And so I'm saying she's skinny, but she got 13 rolls under here. Go ahead. I could throw myself under the bus. Sometimes I feel like that. Or I go on the beach and I find the biggest whale of a woman that's out there and I sit next to her so I can feel skinny.
Right.
Because I have this consciousness about the way I look from the inside. And I exude that onto other people. And my husband often mentions, why you always talk about people who are fat? And that's because I'm conscious about how fat I am.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to do that, but it's something that, and I often look at women and I say, I wonder if I'm as fat as she is. Now, all y'all can do therapy with me, help me, send me a bunch of messages. Come on, First Lady, you look beautiful, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter because if I think that about myself, I'm going to think that. So I need to get healed and say that even though I'm working on it and I'm trying to work myself into a better body image, I'm still Cynthia McInnes, whether I'm in this body or the one that I see inside of this body that's hiding under all this fat. So I got to get that together in my own mind. And if I don't, as Cherie said, I'm going to project that onto other people. So we're still talking about inner healing. So hatred on other people. And so hatred sounds like a big mean word, but just doing those kinds of things doesn't mean I hate these people or I want to kill them or I want them to die. It's just that I am reflecting something that's going on inside of me on them. Are we feeling a little better about the word hate? Because I don't want you to think I just mean we want to kill each other. So Chanel.
Yeah, I had a friend who's overweight, but she's beautiful and she dresses beautifully. But all she can see, yes, absolutely, absolutely. But all she could see was the weight, so she tended to focus on the negative parts about her. No matter what I would say, that's all she could focus on, and she would project that onto me. She would be like, well, you could lose a little, lose a little bit of weight, or why don't we go work out? Because that's all she could see. And no one, like you said, no one can make her feel any different because that's all she could see. And I think we tend to focus on the negative instead of the good stuff about ourselves. So.
Wow. That's right. We do that. I know it's true because I do it
I
sometimes.
know, I
Of
do it
course,
too.
I get over it. I get over it and I start telling myself, Cynthia, girl, you look good. Girl, you know,
You
I
look
get
good.
together and I start saying, you know, you are Cynthia McInnes, whether you are, you know, I do that, but it still is a factor. When people are eating, I'm always watching what they're eating because it's conscious that, you know, I want to eat too and I want to get mad at them for enjoying what they're enjoying because I want to eat it and now I'm beating myself up. Y'all don't have to agree with me, but that's just me sometimes. Tanasia.
I absolutely agree with you. I've struggled with my weight for a long time, and I often would look at people in terms of being like fat or skinny, or I would just look at other people and be like, even if they have this that I don't have, I have this that's better than them. And I was always just often comparing myself to them. In order to make myself feel better, I would have to find something that I had that they didn't have. But even that is like not a healthy coping mechanism at all. So I think that when we're dealing with that self-hatred and like in relationship to other people, we absolutely just have to continue to reflect and work and make ourselves happy from within. And that is ultimately going to let us compliment other women or look to other women as inspiration rather than constantly trying to figure out why they have this and I don't.
Thank you. I know this is helping somebody because I've done it and I feel comfortable, you know, being transparent on my lives because listen, this is a day of transparency. My husband preached a message yesterday. He said, this is a day where people are just transparent. This is who I am. I am who I am, you know? And so I feel comfortable doing that because people often hide some parts about them that they're unhappy about because of self-hatred. So there's only one way to get healed, and that's to acknowledge what we are experiencing. I've hidden behind all my college degrees and said, yeah, I may not be skinny, but look how smart I am. And so that's not healthy. That's not healthy because I'm still going to have an issue with how I look. And so what I've resolved to do is to do my best, to look my best whenever for the rest of my life, a lifelong learning journey, a lifelong process of healing and a lifelong process of health and weight management. So once I have resolved that that's what I'm going to do, now I don't have to get on Facebook and show everybody that I'm jogging. Here I am going down the block. I don't have to show myself in the gym working out because once I start doing that, I'm still needing validation. I'm still needing people to say, go Cynthia, go, you can do it. I'm not on there showing, thanks Mega Shake, that I'm doing this and that and the third. I don't have to do that. All I have to do is continue to do what I'm doing. So we have to be careful, or even on our next level of growth, when we come to the fact that we're going to improve our health, we're not going to go around telling people you shouldn't eat that. That's not good for you. You better watch that carbohydrate. You better watch that, because now we're trying to do something else. And that's that you're not anybody's health guru. Let everybody come to their own. If they ask you a question, tell them, but don't just make it a business of yours to mind other people's business, or else you have another situation. So now we are moving into, now we got to talk about the nasty, dirty stuff. We got to talk about some of the things we see on Facebook. And because I'm on Facebook and Instagram, I have to deal with some of the stuff that I read. So if I mention something that you may have posted, sorry, but I need to deal with some of this kind of stuff that we get on Facebook. Now we call ourselves encouraging people, and we get on there and say, stop inboxing me. Okay, I can't even quote some of the stuff. It's just some of the things that we say to each other subliminally. Now we're not big, bad, and bodacious enough to contact the person who we are really upset with. So we throw out these generalizations and these subs. Now, I have been guilty of addressing people when they say, you are not going to hate me or blah, 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 blah. I said, I don't hate you. I'm letting you know that what you are intending for somebody else is coming to me publicly. I am reading your post. You are a friend on my Facebook. So if you said that publicly, then I say you're saying that to me. My question is not so much who are you mad at? My question is why are you posting it on Facebook? Let's deal with the Facebook post. Anybody want to start?
I can start.
Go.
I feel like a lot of the reasons why us as women, we have issues with each other is because we lack like the proper communication skills, and we don't know how to address the things that are really bothering us. Like, so often we let little things build up, or we when someone says something, instead of just asking them what did you mean by that or dealing with it in the moment, we let it fester, and then our only communication or our only way to let it go is to get validation from other people who don't even know the full situation, and we go to Facebook for that comfort.
Wow. I agree with you. Cherie.
I think as women,
public social media in general.
Yes.
So I feel like to piggyback on Sister Tasia, reference to communication skills, I definitely think there's a lack there. But I also think that the fear of confrontation, from a church aspect, is there as well. I don't know that we know how to have healthy confrontations. And so what we do is we create these arenas for public opinion so that we can draw sides instead of going to the person that we have the particular issue with and having healthy confrontation.
Healthy conversation is major, and you hit it on the head, I think, Cherie, by saying we go to arenas so we can get, we want to get brownie points. We want to get people on our side. We say things and we attract the people who think like we think. And you can always tell, I want y'all to know, if you're watching, I can always tell who's going to respond to this post right here, because they all say the same kind of stupidness. And I'm sorry, it's stupidity to get on there talking about people as subliminals and who's gonna not stop you from reaching your goals. Just reach your doggone goal. You don't have to go off on people who seem to be trying to keep you from reaching. You have stopped reaching your goal, trying to go after people who's trying to stop you from reaching your goal. You pause in the moment of your grind to deal with somebody who does not matter. And now we all have to read it. Nobody cares. Do what you're going to do. Chanel, help me out here now. She's stuck. You're frozen. Move around. Squish around. Get your signal back. Chanel, you're frozen. Try to get back on. Okay, so I am completely honest and as open as I can be about how we spend our time. So now when we talk about hatred to one another and this need to get people on our side or to get people to agree with us, that deals again with our own self-hatred. We need validation again. We need a whole group. And then we're counting how many people liked it, how many people loved it, how many people. So now we say, I know I was right because I got 2,000 likes. It doesn't mean you're right. You got 2,000 people who just as wrong as you. That's all that means. It does not mean that you are right or wrong. So I want you to know that when we do these polls on Facebook and Instagram and try to get people to chime in on some of our negativity, and we have to understand how to have intelligent, positive communication. The same thing you're trying to say with all that negativity added in, you can say it without adding that negativity. Just make a positive statement. The negativity will always be there. It will always be available because negativity lurks in the air like oxygen. But you don't have to be the one to bring it. So now I'm moving on into another area because I think I slam dunked this one enough. Be nice on Facebook. Say something positive. Help somebody and stop trying to prove that you're so holy and you're holier than everybody else. Because I have to deal with this because I am speaking always from a Christian worldview. I am a woman of God. I am a Christian. So we represent Christianity, and our worldview comes out in everything that we do. So even when we're trying to, some of us use scriptures and it feels so negative. I feel like I just got slapped in the face by the word of
Right.
God.
Thank
And
you.
I'm really wondering, you know, all the 66 books of scripture, you chose this one. Who are you trying to kill right now? And I'm really trying to help us because we believe the Bible said the word of God is sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing asunder between the marrow and the bone. I know the word, pumpkins. I know the word. But the sword is a weapon that should be used against an enemy. We don't use the word of God against each other and justify it by saying it's sharper than any two-edged sword. It doesn't have to hurt me in order for me to be healed. Healing hurts sometimes, but that is the process that hurts, not our approach. So we have to be very careful throwing out all these kill you going to hell, fire and brimstone scriptures. And I'm showing you that you're wrong through the word of God, because I really want people to know something. We can read, we're not slow. I'm not. I can read through those lines and see you really trying to get somebody. And why do I have to read that? So positivity on the network means that we are really trying to help somebody, not trying to. I've often got on people's posts, I don't even know, it said, who would benefit by this post? That's the question I'm asking. Who's going to benefit? Well, I don't know if they're going to benefit, but I know it happened to me before. So I'm still asking the same question. Who's going to benefit? Are you even benefiting from this nonsense? No. Take it down. So anyway, Chanel's back. Chanel, help me on public media, social media posts.
What I was gonna, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, what I was saying was, it seems it's nice to, it's fun to be nasty. People feel like I don't know if you already said this, but I if I'm nasty enough, or if I say something, get a reaction, this is fun. Somehow, I don't know where that came in. Like it's no longer fun to be nice and say nice things. So, I mean, I don't like to participate, but I read some of that stuff and it's insane. And they feel like they can hide behind the keyboard. But I'm like, well, you see your name and your face and we know it's you that posted it. But you feel like I can say whatever I want because I'm behind the screen. We know it's you. So I don't understand that whole concept of. And I think, can I add one more thing?
Sure.
These reality shows, these things that we constantly are bombarded with, it subconsciously, it does affect what we think. Like that, the ratchetness, the fighting, that's fun, that's entertaining. So you take it to Facebook and you do the same thing and you post that negativity because you know it's entertaining, it's gonna get likes. And I think, like you said, I think it's foolishness, but we've subscribed to that because that's what we see constantly. And instead of going against it, we go with it.
Right.
May I add something?
Sure. Please.
I just wanted to say, we're in this world, but we're not of this world. And what's happening is we're allowing the world's culture to seep into the kingdom culture. And that's where that comes from, that subscribing to things that the world's culture accepts is definitely going against, the kingdom of God's culture. And so what we should be doing is, instead of being followers, we should be trendsetters like Jesus and inserting more of kingdom culture in these public arenas.
Thank you. The culture. We have to deal with the culture. And I was going there next, Chanel, about how what we entertain ourselves with, how it affects our behavior. So we're moving right in the vein. It doesn't just happen on Facebook. Sadly, it happens in our pulpit. So I have to deal with that because I have a lot of preachers watching me and I have a lot of ministers and pastors, and they don't say anything, but they're on here looking. But we do that to get amens and hoorahs. As nasty as we can be, and unfortunately, that's what gets our crowd standing sometimes. And my head is exploding. My little hair piece is falling off because I am like, yo, son, why are we talking about hate? Because if we keep on talking about my haters, everybody in the church is standing up. They're not the hater. They are the hated. Somebody got to be the hater. All right. So here's the problem. We do so much for brownie points and for hoorahs. We end up not helping anybody. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's going to be a brawl after service because people start looking at each other. I told you we was talking about that this morning. You see, and we're doing these eyes and everything. We're like, And sometimes I want to just get my camera and take pictures of the faces and see how angry. Say it, Pastor. You say it. And we look like we are in some kind of fight situation because somebody done rolled into an area that gets us crazy. And we are not supposed to be entertained by that. It's like firecrackers. I'm still trying to figure out what's fun about all this noise. I like the ones with the colors, but the ones that just make noise all night. Yeah. Pow, pow, pow. I don't see much fun in that. I want you to shut up. I want you to take that somewhere else because it's not entertaining me. Just making noise is not entertaining me. The colors, the creativity, that entertains me. So when we start, we have to deal with what entertains us. I'm not even going to name some of these shows, Housewives of, and the Ratchet Girls of this, that, and the third. You can watch it if you think it's funny or whatever, but that stuff gets in your spirit. I'd rather watch Criminal Minds and see those unsubs do crazy things to try to understand why they're doing that. I'm not going to go do it, but it just helps me understand people. I'm not going to watch girls who walk around in high heel red bottoms all day long and their hair is 17 inches long and it's bright blonde. Their lipstick is popping. Oh, this is not reality TV. Nobody walks around in them shoes all day long. Nobody. It's TV. It's entertainment. And the whole television and movie industry is appalled that they spent years and years creating superstars like Betty Davis and Denzel Washington, only to be replaced by reality TV of people who are just on there acting stupid, and they love a good fight. They talked about Jerry Springer, but he introduced this foolishness, and we are entertained by it. We have to do better, pumpkins. We have to do better, and we have to stop comparing ourselves to them chicks on TV who walk around with their doggone waist trainers on all day long and them high heel shoes, and because in between sets they taking that stuff off. They take their hair off, they take their face off, they take their teeth out, they take their waist trainers off, and then they become me. So we have to be careful living our lives through some kind of reality TV. So these television shows, what projects on television into our image. I want to bring up another area. We're doing well. We still have a lot of good time left. Now, when we talk about projecting other images onto ourselves, let's talk about even some of the ministry role models. I'm not going to talk about the men. I'm not going to bring up Michael Todd and my man Stevenson. I love these guys. But some of the men are getting their pants really tight because they see it working for Stevenson. They don't have his body, but they got them tight pants on. They done dyed their hair. They done braided their hair. And I get it. Do whatever you do. And now we're saying we do that because we just want to be unique. You're not unique. You look just like Stevenson. Stop it. And so some of us girls, we're bumblebees for Juanita Bynum. Now, we got to be careful about that. Let's talk about our ministry role models and how that affects our delivery, how that affects our witness, how that may affect who we are trying to become. Anybody not scared?
I'll take the lead on this because I can relate to it. It all ties into what we're talking about. I think when you get a good sense of who God created you to be, you begin to pull from that vein. You have to have a good handle of, what God created, you for, your purpose. And you have to really understand who God created you individually to be. For a long time, a part of my, issue was people pleasing and seeking validation from outside. And so I did have some ministry mentors and some people that I looked up to. And it wasn't until in my early 35 when I was under a new ministry, and my pastor, had started to identify some gifts, and he asked me to speak, and I did. And at the end of the critique, he said, you sound just like so and so, and for me that was a. But until he began to share that wasn't who God created me to be, and I began to realize that diversity and difference is a gift from God, and because there are different people that have to be reached. So if we are all mimicking one another, then we are missing, a grand level of souls, because they won't respond to that. And that is why God has diversity and difference in the earth. So appreciating who you are in God will definitely help you on the course of, allowing him to mold you as an individual versus mimicking those that you find intriguing or those that you admire.
Thank you. That's profound. And now, is there something wrong, Tanasia, with us finding a role model and wanting to identify with the concepts that they represent? Is that the same as mimicking?
No, I think that it's important to establish the difference. Like, you can take qualities or aspects that you like from certain people, but you still need to maintain who you are and the gifts that you have, because there's a reason why you're here. And if God wanted us to be the same people, he wouldn't created you in a different place. Like, you have your own unique abilities that God is trying to use. I think that you have to understand the difference of, I like that this person does this, or I want to grow in the fact that they're able to have strengths in this without trying to copy exactly who they are.
Awesome. And so, Chanel, and now we're going to talk about Candace Owens. I hope you all know who Candace Owens is, because we're going to discuss some of the concepts and some of the critique that's been sent in her direction. And we're going to be both for her and against her at the same time. And somebody can share it to her if you're not afraid, because she comes back hard. Chanel. Role models and mimicking and being who you are.
I think that goes back to early on and being, confident in who you are with your self-esteem. So when you see someone else, you're confident, you're already confident in who you are, and I don't have to copy them. I can admire them. I can take some pointers from them, but I'm okay with the way I speak. I'm okay with the way I deliver, because that's the way God wants me to deliver, because that's the way he wants me to get it through, because I'm going to reach the people he wants me to reach. So it's okay to have mentors and people you look up to, but when you begin to copy, it just shows that you're really not confident in who you are. And that's where, you have to get confidence in yourself before you even begin to go in, or else you're going to be a carbon copy. You're going to be, just copying someone else. And we don't want you to be anyone else but you.
You don't want to be a Punchinella. Punchinella. Right. I can do it too. Punchinella. Right. We want to make sure that we are. And sometimes you pick up the spirit of your leader and you end up sounding like your leader. The voice of Eli sounded like the voice of God to Samuel. But when he grew up and developed his own identity, he was able to be Samuel. So sometimes we don't really know our own style. We're new. We don't know who we really are. So we kind of mimic who we want to be. But if you're in Christ for real and you know Jesus, the Holy Spirit will direct you and turn you into who you need to be. And you don't fight God on that. You just have to be who you are, because there, as Cherie said, there is a specific group of people that you need to reach. And I can't reach them. So if you're trying to be me, you're going to miss that whole group that is supposed to be for you. Thank you, guys. So now I want to talk about my friend Candace Owens. I never met her. I only heard her speak and on different platforms. I've listened to some of the comments that she has made, particularly one that dealt with Eric Garnes and his treatment. She made it clear, and I'm not quoting her, but from what I gathered from what she said, she made it clear that we should not turn him into a hero, that Black people have a tendency to turn drug dealers and criminals into heroes if they have been wrongly treated by police officers. And I have to say that I agree with that. I don't think we should idolize these people or paint murals of these people or cause them to be as respected leaders. We can't put them on the same level with Martin Luther King, who was also mistreated by police officers, who was also murdered. We cannot put Eric Garnes on that same platform. Why she had to read his rap sheet and make his rap sheet public and how terrible he was, I am offended by that. That was absolutely unnecessary. That is the kind of thing that I think is used to get attention. So when we start doing the negativity, then we get the numbers. So that's just my take on Candace Owens' comments about Eric Garnes, the Eric Garnes situation. There are other things that she deals with that I agree and disagree with. I have you guys on here. I want you to talk to us. Meanwhile, those of you that are still on, I want you to sow your seed as you usually do. You're sowing to Healing Truth Women's Ministry. None of these women asked me for any money, so I'm not putting up their cash apps. But if they want to say their cash apps and you want to bless them because you were blessed, we believe in blessing people. We believe that giving is the roadmap to prosperity and financial increase. So if you want to bless Chanel or Tanasia or Cherie, I have absolutely no problem with you doing that. You guys can tell them your cash app. And don't be so humble and act like you don't need no money, so you don't want to tell nobody your cash app. If somebody wants to bless you, let them bless you. If not, you can also sow your seed to Healing Truth Women's Ministry. You can also support Healing Truth Women's Ministry by supporting purchasing ebooks from payhip.com. Wanda, if you're still on, you can help by putting up all that information. Now, we're talking about Candace Owens. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. I agree with the idea that these people are not heroes, so they shouldn't be painted and those kind of things. However, I disagree with the fact that because they might have been doing criminal activity, that they shouldn't be remembered for what happened to them. And I just think that in other races, they're allowed to have crimes, and doing a crime is not a death sentence. You should not be killed because you did a crime. And unfortunately, Black people have disproportionately been dying off of crimes that other people don't even face jail time or even get arrested for. And so while I agree, I just think that when you there's a time and a place, and I think that when you deflect from what we're trying to talk about by doing something as negative as like putting out a whole rap sheet or just bringing a counter narrative when we're trying to face one issue, which is police brutality. There's an issue with that, and that's mainly my issue with Candace Owens a lot of the time. Instead of focusing on the problem that a lot of people are going to, she wants to play. She often plays devil's advocate in a way that's not healthy to the conversation. Now,
why do you think she does that, Tanasia?
I think that because from where I don't know her whole biography and everything about her, but what I can say is I think that because she has a platform, maybe she's too far removed from the things that a lot of Black people are facing, and so she may look at herself as an exception when, for many of us who don't have a large platform like that, we still face these and see these issues on a day-to-day basis, or what other people we know are in our neighborhoods.
Thank you, Cherie.
So I'm intrigued with Candace Owens, and because I was intrigued with her, I did begin to look into her narrative. And first thing I want to say is when you are on a platform, speaking on a cause, you have to be open to your opposition. So I respect a lot of her views. I respect her wittiness. I respect the way that she counter answers questions. She's a force to be reckoned with. And because of that, she caused me to, want to step up my game in some areas. I also looked into her narrative, and, it is the topic that we're talking about right now. Candace Owens is highly educated, and in the Black community, she was shunned. And this is the result of being shunned by your own, I think when we learn to embrace one another and empower one another and lift each other's arms, then we can look to each other to remain on the same side, for lack of a better term. However, a lot of what Candace Owens has to say is right in a lot of instances. I think, like Tanasia stated, though, she does look to pull the attention away from the actual issues with negativity. And so that is the part that I do not agree with. But I feel if you're going to be in a public arena and stand on any position, you have to be open to the opposition, and you have to respectfully hear and listen what's being said, not necessarily to formulate a response or a rebuttal, but to try to learn from your opposing side. Because ultimately there is going to be a line of similarity between the two of you, and that's what you should be looking for.
Well, thank you very much. I certainly agree with you and respect what you're saying. I'm feeling led to invite Candace Owens to a conversation with me on Lunchtime Live. If I can get her to do that, I will certainly do that. I'm going to look into it when we speak, when we get off of this live, because I want to talk directly to her. Right now, I am only hearing, and it may be impossible. She may say, I'm not important enough, or we are not her platform, or whatever. But I will reach out to her, woman to woman, and see if we can't get a softer side of her, because she's often on defense. She is often very defensive because she gets so much negativity. And I think that she's often defending herself. I want to see her on a platform where she is not defending herself, where she is just, I want to see if that will work. Just because she's very intelligent and she's very vocal and she does have a lot of influence. And when we have another platform, we're going to talk about the power of influence. So you ladies now are going to get some attention. You ladies are going to get some more attention from people who have not heard your voices before, and perhaps be asked to speak on other platforms. So that's what happens with influence, and we have to be careful not to let it go to our heads. Chanel, Candace Owens.
Yeah, I really didn't know much about her, but I did listen to what she had to say about George Floyd and his death. And what I got from
did I say Eric Garner? I meant to say George Floyd. I get stuff mixed up, but y'all know who
I know. Yeah, but it almost seemed as if she hated this man, the way she spoke about him, and she didn't even know him, and she didn't see the human in him. And I just felt so bad because she used her platform to almost make him seem like he wasn't human and he didn't deserve to live. And sometimes I think the things she says are very dangerous because she causes more division than separation. But she's very knowledgeable. She she has a lot of facts and statistics, and she knows what she's talking about. But I feel like she needs a hug. She needs a hug. She seems like people are always against her and she doesn't like herself. And I honestly think there's a lot of self-hatred with her, just the way she speaks. I don't think she embraces who she really is. And it could be because she has been shunned by the Black community. So she wants to separate herself from Black people. Like, I don't want to have nothing to do with y'all. But it's real unfortunate because she's very intelligent and she can help so many more people than than what she's doing by hurting, by being negative and divisive. But yeah, I hope you can get her on. That'd be awesome.
Well, I agree, and perhaps one of her constituents will share this with her. And it's about the Bible says, and I did have a scripture. I want to make sure I put it up. This is what the Bible says. Ecclesiastes 4:9. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. 2 people are better off than 1, for they can help each other succeed. And so just like I I said Eric Garnes the whole time, and I was thinking George Floyd. You helped me. We can help one another by sharing and being honest without hurting one another. We can help each other. And I know that Candace Owens is a human being, and she can be helped by some of our comments, and as well as we can be helped by some of hers. I think that her issue is to the Black community to change the way we think. I have some issues with the welfare mentality. I have some issues with democratic socialism. I have some issues with giving poor people so much that they have never learned how to get on a grind. Those kinds of things are really important to me, but I'm not going to say you're a lazy bunch of poor Black so-and-so who don't want to get up and work. Get your butt up and do something. I'm not going to do that because it is a systematic problem. It's systemic. It's been going on for a long time, and it's been created by a government that had an end game in mind. And so we really have to deal with it, not to make us victims, but to make us consciously aware. So I think that today, our panel discussion was phenomenal. I think that you ladies were perfect. I wanted Sharon to be on here. I see her comments. I didn't get to her fast enough. Kim Summers. I wanted you to be on this panel as well because I was led to invite you. I don't know if I did not send you the link to get on, but I definitely will have you on again at another platform. Now, these platforms often go into 2-hour stretches. You guys were phenomenal. Your answers were succinct, they were powerful, and they were phenomenal. So I want to thank you very much for being a part of Lunchtime Live with Lady Doctor. I was serious about people sewing into your lives. So you see their names, people, you can simply go on their page and ask them for their Cash App, and they will gladly give it to you if you want to bless them. Now, I am one who likes to bless people because I understand the power of being a blessing. Those of you who are sewing into Healing Truth Women's Ministry, you will help me be a blessing and also help me get the computers for the seniors. We haven't forgotten that. I have to get off now. I'm 3 minutes past my time, but I appreciate you guys. I want to say, Cherie's back. I want to say thank you to each one of you. And I want you to please consider being on another live with me on some other subjects, and even to continue this conversation. If you want us to have a part 2, say so, and we may consider that. Also, August 2nd, August 1st. Did I say August 2nd? August 2nd is a Sunday. So it's actually August 1st. That's the first Saturday in August. We will be with our Healing Truth 11 a.m. segment. We have another panel discussion about girls on their grind. And so far we have the amazing and phenomenal Wanda Leftwich, who's going to be with us, and some others. So I am opening up the platform for conversations, and I'm not looking for famous names. I'm not looking for great superstars to get numbers. I could care less. I just want good information out there. And I know when you share good information, it will travel. So thank you again, ladies. God bless you. And I look forward to talking with you in the boot camp a little bit later.
All right.
Love you guys.
Okay.
Bye-bye.